In this session, we are going to discuss about the important topics of Unit 2, which is weirs. And from this unit, we will be having the two questions which are very, very important for your externals. The, the first and foremost important topic for your short answers, that is about your headwork. So, what is headwork is nothing but which is a hydraulic structure constructed in order to supply the water to the canal structure, that you are going to call it as a headwork. So in that headwork we will be having the two types of the headwork, storage headwork and the diversion headwork. So storage headwork is nothing but which is used to store the water across the river. Whenever we are having the demand, we are going to supply that water to the off taking canal. The next one, diversion headwork, is used only to divert the river water into the canal. And what are the purpose of the diversion headwork? This is also very, very important for your short answers, which is it raises water level on its upstream side, which regulates supply of water into the canal, which control entry of the silt particles into the canal, and it also create a small point or the reservoir under the upstream end of the canal and provide some pondage. This is about your headwork question. Very, very important question for your long answers, which is about the components of the diversion headwork. Definitely you will be getting this question in your external. So what are the things which we will be having in the diversion headwork? So in that first one, you can able to see the marginal bund and guide bank in the drawing, as well as where it consists of the fish ladder. It also consists of the scoring sluices. It consists of the approach channel, divide wall, and it also consists of the head regulator and canal regulator. So in that first we will be learning about the each and every component. So total how many components we are having? We are having 8 components. So first we will be going on with the weir or barrage. So what is weir or barrage? Weir is nothing but which is a solid obstruction put across the river to raise its water level. So always weir or the barrage, that what is the use of the weir or barrages? It will be a solid structure which will be helpful for the raising of the water level in the upstream side, and so that it will be allowing that water to pass into the canal structure. So that is weir or barrage. And one more important topic from this, the difference between the weir and barrage, is also the very, very important question for your short answers. So the second important component in this is about the divide wall. So what is divide wall is nothing but divide wall is also a one type of the masonry structure which will be constructed to separate the weir from the under sluices. So what is under sluices? Under sluices is nothing but whenever there is excess amount of the water, or it will be allowing the water to pass beneath the weir or barrage, that you are going to call it as a divide wall. Next component is about the fish ladder. So what is the fish ladder is nothing but which will be helpful for the free movement of the fishes from the river to the canal structure. So for that purpose we will be going with the fish ladder construction. The next one, approach channel. Approach channel is nothing but where you will be having a bell mouthing of the radius 2 to 6 times the tunnel width away from the canal head regulator and for shorter tunnels, and this is used to collect the entire water purpose. Then next component is about the scoring sluices. So what is scoring sluices is nothing but this can also be called as a under sluices, as I said that it will be provided beneath the base of the weir or the barrage. It will be allowing the silt particles to move from that place and deposit near the canal head regulator. The next one, canal head regulator. So what is canal head regulator? Regulator is nothing but whatever it may be, the regulator purpose is to control or regulate the flow of water either entering from the river to the canal or from reservoir to the canal structure. So canal head regulator is nothing but which will be controlling the regulator of the flow. So what is the function? Which functions of the canal head regulator? It regulates the water supply, it controls entry of slit, and it also completely excludes entering of the high flood water into the canal. Whenever you are having the higher amount of the rainfall, it will be allowing, if once a stretch, if you are going to remove the gates of the barrage or the weir, so the entire water will be entered into the low-lying areas wherever the canal is being passed. So in order to control that, we are going to use the canal head regulator. The next component of your diversion head work is silt prevention device. It consists of silt excluders and the silt ejector. So silt excluders are nothing but which are constructed on the bed of the upstream or near the head regulator, and silt ejector is nothing, and silt excluder, what they will be doing is they are going to remove the silt particles before the water entering into the canal section. And silt ejectors, so what is the purpose of the silt ejectors? Silt ejectors will be removing the silt particles from the canal water. So silt excluder will be preventing the entry of the silt particles into the canal section. If any of the silt particles have been entered into the silt ejectors into the canal section, that can be removed with the help of a silt ejector. Then the last component of the diversion head work is about the river training works. It consists of the two things. One is the marginal bund and also the guide bank. So what is guide bank is nothing but guide bank force the river into a restricted channel and ensuring a smooth and axial flow of water. And marginal bund is nothing but which will be able to raise the area of the submergence whenever you are having the high flood level caused by the afflux. So guide bank will be helpful in the case of the axial flow and smooth flow of the water from river to the canal section, and marginal bund will be helpful in providing and protecting the area of submergence. So wherever the canal is passing, there will be, in passing through the low-lying areas, there will be having a chance of the submergence that can be protected with the help of a marginal bund. And with this we have done with the components of the diversion head work, and this is very important question for your external. Please don't skip this question. Definitely you will be getting this question in your external exam. Then next important topic for your long answer, which is the design principles of a vertical drop weir. If you are going to learn this topic about the design principles of a vertical drop weir, from this you will be getting the short answers as well too in your external exams from the design principles topic. So in that you are having three things. One is the hydraulic calculation, second one is the design of the weir wall, and third one is about the design of the impervious apron of your weir section. So in the case of the hydraulic calculation, you are having different steps. So in the step number 1, what we will be doing is we are going to calculate the length of the waterway or perimeter, which is the same formula L or P, which is equal to 4.75 into Q whole to the power of 1 by 2. And second step in the case of the hydraulic calculations is about the discharge. So in the question you will be getting, or in the design principles already we will be fixing up with the discharge, what is the rate of the discharge the water will be entering into the canal. So as per that we are going to discharge the unit width of the river, which is small q is equal to capital Q by L. Then third step is based on the Resume's core depth, in which we are going to identify the silt factor present in it. So which is R is equal to 1.35 into Q square by F whole to the power of 1 by 3. And fourth step is about the Resume velocity, which is B is equal to Q by R. Velocity units are meter per second, and velocity head, which is V square by 2G. And the fifth step we are going to calculate what is the total amount of the water level and the total amount of the energy levels, which is level of the downstream total energy level is HFL before construction plus V square by 2G, and elevation of the upstream total energy level, which is downstream total energy level plus afflux, and elevation of the upstream HFL, which is upstream total energy level minus V square by 2G. And then we are also going to design the discharge over the crest of weir, which is small q is equal to 1.70 k to the power of 3 by 2. From this we will be getting the total energy level measured against the above weir crest, and crest level is nothing but upstream total energy level minus k. And then step number 7, we are going to find the pond level and the level of the top of the gates, which is FSL of the canal plus head loss through the regulator, and head loss through the regulator is assumed as 1 by 2 to 1 meter. Then height of the shutters S is equal to level of the top gates minus crest level. Then next one, step number 8, protection against the score, which is level of bottom upstream pile, which is equal to upstream HFL minus 1.5 R. and level of bottom downstream pile, which is HFL after retrogression minus 2R. These are the hydraulic calculations which we are going to do for the designing of the vertical drop weir. So if you take this as your weir section, here you will be calculating the HFL, pond level, crest level, HFL after retrogression, and that in your hydraulic calculation. And at the bottom you can able to see the impervious aprons, right, that you are going to calculate. And at the this you are going to call it as a weir section. For this weir section, in your step number 2, you are going to calculate what is the top width and the bottom width of your weir section in order to design the vertical drop weir. The next one is designing of the weir wall. This topic is important for your short answers as well. He'll be asking what is the design principles of what is the design principle or the consideration for designing the top width of the weir wall or the bottom width of the weir wall. In this top width, we are going to consider 3 consideration. One is A is equal to D by square root of rho, and the next one safety against sliding, which is A is equal to D by mu into rho, where we are going to consider mu value as 2 by 3. And the next one, A is equal to 3D by 2 into rho. Whenever you are going to substitute mu value in that, you will be getting safety against sliding. And the next one, practical consideration, which is A is equal to S plus 1 meter. So we are going to take this 3 consideration, and in this 3 consideration, whichever is the highest value, that we are going to provide as a top width of your vertical drop weir. Now we will be going on with the bottom width of your vertical drop weir. In the design consideration of the bottom width of the top weir, you are having the 2 states. One is head water at the crest level or at the level of crest of the shutters. So whenever the water is present at the crest level, that you are going to call it as a head water present at the crest level. So in that you will be having the 2 movements calculation. One is overturning movement and the resisting movement. So in order to calculate the overturning movement, the formula is W into H plus S whole cube by 6. And in order to calculate the resisting movement, that is MR is equal to W by 12 with resisting movement, which is MR is equal to W by 12 into rho plus 1.5 into H plus 2.5 into S into B square plus A into rho H minus S into B minus 1 by 2 into A square into H plus 3S. That is the moment of resistance. Or we are having one more formula in order to calculate the moment of resistance, in spite of going with the lengthy formula, which is W into H into rho by 6 into B square plus AB minus A square, from which we are going to get the value of the B. B is nothing but the bottom width of your vertical drop weir. And the next one, state 2, where the water level will be passing above or over the crest of the weir and the weir gets submerged. So in that case, for calculating the overturning moment, which is W into small h into H square by 2, and in what is the value of the small h is D is equal to small h is equal to Q square by 2 by 3 into C square C whole square into 2G whole to the power of 1 by 3. And in order to calculate the moment of resistance, which is MR is equal to W into H into rho minus 1 by 12 into B square plus AB. So this is the step number 2 in the case of the design of the vertical drop weir, which is very important for your short answers as well. The step number 2, in which you are going to calculate, or we will be having the consideration in order to design the top width and the bottom width of your vertical drop weir. Next step is about the designing of the impervious apron, which is capital L is equal to C into H into S, and in that you will be having the downstream apron different and the upstream apron different. So in order to calculate the downstream apron without the with the crest shutters, which is L1 is equal to 2.21 into C into square root of HS by 13, without the crest shutter, which is L1 is equal to 2.21 C into square root of H by 10. And in the upstream impervious apron L2, we are going to consider the upstream impervious apron, which is capital L minus L1 minus B plus 2D1 plus 2D2, and total length of the downstream apron with shutters and without shutters, which is L3 is equal to square root of L3 is equal to 18C into square root of HS by 13 into Q by 75, and if there are no shutters provided to the downstream apron, then it is L3 is equal to 18C into square root of H by 10 into Q by 75. Then next we are going to calculate the length of the filter plus launching apron, which is L2 minus L1, and minimum length of the inverted filter is 1.5 into D2, which is 1.5 times of D2, and minimum horizontal length of the launching apron, which is 2.5 times of D2, and total minimum length is nothing but minimum length of the inverted filter plus minimum length of the launching apron. Then next we are going to calculate the upstream block protection and the launching apron, and the last step in designing of the vertical drop here is thickness of the impervious floor against the residual pressure, which is HR is equal to HS minus HS by L into X, and thickness you will be getting, which is 4 by 3 into HR by rho minus 1. So with this we have done with the discussion of the design principles of the vertical drop here, and this question as well as the components of the diversion head work. Out of this both questions you will be getting in your external for your 15 marks. So please do not neglect these both questions from your second unit, which are very very important topics.
హాట్స్పాట్ ఆన్ చేయడానికి